So we are baking with fresh milled flour today. I am going to try a couple of recipes. We are going to try fresh milled flour, everyday sandwich bread, chocolate chip cookies, kamut pumpkin bread, and brownies. So I just brought my grain tubs in here, so we are about to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do the bread first so that it can rise or do its thing before, and then I can just finish up everything else. In the meantime, so I have this grain meal here. It's not like a Nutri-Meal. It's a little bit different, but it does the job for me, especially since I don't like, this is my first couple of times of me doing this, so I just didn't want to go to the most expensive thing first. So we are just going to try it. And then I also have my camera over here because we are also going to be recording a video as well while we are doing it. And I might have to get some better lighting for this. So y'all will get kind of like a little bit of like a live action of everything that I'm doing. Hey, 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 how are you? Okay, so y'all just get a little, you know, behind the scenes of me doing my videos, which is cool. But if you have any questions or anything like that, I will answer them. Just so y'all are aware, if you come in here and say anything inappropriate, you are going to be blocked because I don't have time for it. I have a full-time job and it's just not worth it to me. Okay, so we are going to start off with our sandwich bread. I'm using the recipe from Grains in Small Places. So they used 4 cups of milled flour. They used 405 grams of hard white wheat and then 80 grams of kamut. So that is what we are going to do. Get my scale. We are also kind of like racing through different things because my kids are in school right now, so I'm waiting for them, and then also my dogs are at the groomer, so I don't know when they're going to call me because it's our first time taking them to this groomer, so we will see. Okay, so now I don't know if you can see, but I have these big old buckets with these lids on, and this is where I keep my wheat at. Okay, so first things first, we are going to start with milling our grain. So we are going to use hard white wheat and kamut. So when milling your grain, you want to, like when making stuff, you want to do like hard white wheat is for like breads and things like that you need a stronger gluten for. And then soft white is for like pastry stuff, cookies, things like that. And kamut, you can interchange it. It can be used for like rolls and stuff like that, but it also can be used for sweets and things like that. So I'm just measuring out my hard white wheat right now. And then we are going to tare our scale, and then we are going to add our kamut. And then we need to start milling this. Thank you so much. So we are going to start milling our grains in here. This is a little bit different than like the Nutri-Mill. So what we are going to start off with is just adding however much you can fit in here. We can try to do all of that and we'll see. And then we are going to put this lid on here. And then we have to tighten it up. And then we gotta close these. And then we plug it in, and this is gonna be loud, so I'm going to mute y'all. Okay, you guys, so let me check this and see if it did good enough or not. I think the hardest part is trying to get this off of here. Okay. So I like to just to make sure that it's all got fine enough to my liking, and I believe it did. So our flour is milled. We have it in here. It's nice and fine. And now we're just going to set this to the side for just a little bit. And then to my bowl that I have over here, I added 180 grams water, 180 grams of milk, also 3/4 cup of both if you don't have a scale. And then we want to add in 3 tablespoons of butter, which we're going to measure out because when I did my water, I did 3/4 cup of water, but when I did my milk, I did 3/4 cups, and the 180 grams didn't get reached, so I had to add more. So I think it's best to do it in grams because you can get it a little bit more accurate than not. So we need 42 grams of butter. So we're adding 42 grams of butter to this bowl. Okay. And now we are just going to put this in the microwave until the butter is melted fully. Hey, hey. I went this morning and got some eggs from my mom's house, and she has the chickens, and she had a lot, so I got a lot from her this morning. And it's her birthday, so yeah. And then she gave me a really big egg. Look at that. Compared to this. Isn't that crazy? So much bigger. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit just to see if the heat can melt the rest. So I have my mixture out and I'm having my heat melt the rest of the butter. And now we are gonna move this to our stand mixer. I really hate when there's like a recipe that says to mix up whatever the mixer, and then you need your dough hook. Because my dough hook really don't mix stuff that well. I don't know if y'all's does, but I know mine does not. Let me move y'all so y'all can see better. Okay, that's as good as I'll be able to get y'all. And let me make sure y'all can hear me, because last time I put it on mute, nobody could hear me, so we just got to make sure. It won't even show me my own live, you guys. It won't even show me. Okay. I think y'all can hear me. Okay. Okay, because the last time I muted it, nobody heard me. Okay. So now we're going to add this mixture into our mixing bowl. And then we are going to add some honey. This recipe says that you can add honey, or you can do do honey or sugar, but I prefer honey if I can. For obvious reasons. And we need 63 grams. That was a bit much. And 65 grams seems like it will work. Okay, so next we added an egg, and then we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then we are just going to mix this up with our dough whisk. So mix it up with this first because my dough hook really don't mix things up as fast as I would like. So if I could do it that way, then it makes it easier. Okay, so then after we mix that, then we need to add our flour and then start to mix it until all of our flour, the dry flour, is gone. So this meal, it doesn't really have like a like the spout where you can already have your bowl down, but it does have like a little what is it called? A little handle right here where you can like help get it all out. And then it comes with like this little brush, and then you could just help get the rest of it out. Okay, so now we're just going to add this into our pan as well, our bowl. Made a mess, you guys, made a mess. So we are just going to let that mix until all the dry spots are gone, and then we will let it rest. Because whenever you are using fresh milled flour, you want to let it rest a little bit so that the liquid can help absorb, so then it will be ready to work with. scraping the sides as we go. Okay, I'm just gonna check this to see, just to make sure I got all the dry. Okay, so that is good. Now we're just gonna cover it and let it sit for about 15 minutes or so. It says you can leave it all the way up to 2 hours, but I'm just gonna do about 15 to 20 minutes while we wait. Okay, so now let's see what we need to do next. I think that one is good for about 15 minutes. So next, let's do guess we can do the cookies. I really would like my stand mixer for the cookies, I think. Let's try the brownies. So, we'll do the brownies. So for the brownies, we need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. And then we are going to start melting our flour. We need 192 grams of fresh milled soft white wheat. And then we are going to add this to our meal. Okay, I'm gonna mute y'all again. Okay, so this is done. So I'm gonna check it. I think the worst part about this meal is these little twisty things. It's so hard sometimes to either get them undone or to get them loose. And I don't know why. Okay, so there's that. And then we need 2 sticks of butter that I'm going to melt in this saucepan. Okay, then we are going to slide that one back, and then we are going to start with our other stuff. So we are going to need to whip up some eggs, which we need 3 eggs for this one. Then you need a cup or 200 grams of sugar. Along with a cup or 213 grams of brown sugar. Okay. And we will see how much juice I have in my electric KitchenAid like hand mixer, because a lot of times I don't even charge it and it just lasts a long time. So if you don't have something like this, I would most definitely say get you one. how's everybody doing? If you are coming in, make sure you hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Okay. Next, we need to add our cocoa powder, salt, and vanilla. So we need 75 grams of cocoa powder to start. We need cocoa powder. Okay, so we're aiming for 75 grams. And then we need to add in a teaspoon of salt. And then we need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we are going to mix this up again. And then we are going to add in our butter. Okay, and then next we want to add in our flour and fold it in or gently mix it. And of course, just like any other brownie recipe, you don't want to overmix because they won't be as soft. So we are just going to add in our flour. And then we are just going to get our dough whisk and just mix it up like that. As soon as you are done seeing dry spots, then that is when you know it is mixed enough. And then you need a 9x9 greased pan. I don't know what size this one is that I have, but this is the one that I always use for brownies. So that is what we are going to do. And then we are just going to pour it in. And this is how it looks. It looks a little different, but that is because we do not sift out our flour. We just put it all in, because if you don't know, fresh milled flour is, you want to, like, it's such a rave right now because you want to have the like bran and germ in it so that you can get all the nutrients, and also it's easier to digest. As a lot of people say, if you are Christian, then we believe that God made the whole wheat berry for you to digest the whole wheat berry, and for it to be easier for you to digest and run through your system instead of causing issues in your gut. So fresh milled flour is really good for you, and it can just help keep everything moving instead of like regular flour that's just dead and not doing anything for you. So we are going to put this in here. And we need that to cook for 35 minutes. Okay, and then our timer went off for our bread, so we can go back to that. And for the bread, we're doing the one that is for 2 4x8 bread pans, and that's because I was scared to overdo my mixer, so I did the smaller batch, so I could see how that would work. But now it's time to add in our yeast. So we need 2 teaspoons of yeast to this. So I keep my yeast in the freezer because it lasts longer. Even though I use it quite often, it still lasts a lot longer. And then we are just going to mix it until it is combined. So if you are someone who really doesn't care for like sourdough or something like that, then you could easily just try to switch to fresh milled flour, and it's a lot healthier for you than the regular flours, and then it will help like promote like all different stuff. Also, a lot of times if you are like gluten intolerant, then you are able to eat fresh milled flour, and it's, you know, you won't have that sensitivity anymore. No, I do not do that on my channel, but if that's something you want to do, then you can do that somewhere else. Okay, so that is got to, we're starting the kneading process now for that. So it can take up to 25 minutes with fresh milled flour, or it can be less, but every now and then just check for the window pane test to see if it's done. And that can give you an idea of if it is or not. And yeah, so we are going to wait for that. So the next thing that we could end up doing is, we can end up doing the kamut flour pumpkin bread. This, it needs to be on 350 as well, just like the brownies do. And then, yeah, I don't think I have to have my stand mixer for this. So let me wash up this stuff right here, and then we can do that. So what is everybody up to today? Do you have any good plans for the weekend? So I'm not going to fully wash these just because we're using a lot of the same ingredients. And then the pumpkin bread, it has chocolate chips in it. So the cocoa, if for some reason some of the cocoa did get off into the bread, then it would be okay because it's chocolate. And then I just need to wash the bread pan right quick too, so I can use it for my pumpkin bread, and then we will be good to go, I believe. It's always like a never-ending cycle of dishes. Like all the time, I always have dishes no matter what. I can just load the dishwasher and there'll be dishes just pile up so quick. Okay. So I'm just drying this, and then we will set it to the side. I think that dough might be getting closer to being ready. Okay, so now we are going to start with the next thing. So we're going to do the kamut flour pumpkin bread, and we need to start measuring out our grain. So with this one, we need 3.5 cups of white kamut flour, which is what we got. Also, when you are using fresh milk flour, just always check your grains just to make sure there's no rocks, because I think most other places are fine, but for some reason at Azure Standard, there's been rocks in the grains for some reason. So I probably won't get my grains from here anymore. I will probably start getting them from like Ancient Grains or something like that, because I've heard with them, there's very few people have trouble with that. So and if you have like a rock that got stuck into your meal, that could like mess up your meal. So now we are just going to mill this up right quick. I'm going to have to do half and half with this one because it is a lot more. are milling our flour for different recipes. And I'm gonna mute y'all. Hey, hey! I am good. Just chilling, you know, just trying to make different things, like different recipes with fresh milled flour. Okay, so our flour is done. So now we are just needing to switch it to this bowl. And now we need to add in the rest of it. Let me mute y'all because this is very loud. Okay, so our meal is done. Now we just need to release this top. I would though highly suggest, if you can afford it, to get one of the other ones, because y'all, taking this lid off and on is just annoying, really. Very annoying. Okay, so we got that. Now we need to start adding in our other ingredients. But first, I think I'm gonna check on this bread to make sure that it's not done yet. Needs some more time, so we're gonna let the bread have some more time. I just tried the window pane test and it was not ready yet. But I am gonna speed it up just a little bit. So next, for our pumpkin bread, we need to add in 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Two teaspoons. I think I did enough. I don't know if I did enough or not. Let's do one more just in case. And then we need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then a half a teaspoon of nutmeg. And then 1½ of salt. And then we're just going to give this a good mix. If the pumpkin bread messes up, you guys, remember it was probably because we didn't add the right amount of baking powder. Because I had a half measuring spoon, and I don't know if I put enough. Okay, so we're going to set this to the side. And then we need to start with our wet. So we are going to add some pumpkin. So we need to add in a whole can of pumpkin. cups of sugar. Seems like a lot of sugar. And then we need 4 eggs. And then we need 3/4 cup of oil. I need a 4th cup of applesauce, and I could have sworn I did that in our pickup order yesterday, but I cannot find it, so let me check and see. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I would really appreciate it if you do. We do a lot of cooking, baking, and whenever it's time, we do the garden. I didn't order applesauce, so let me see. Substitute for applesauce. We are going to add in a mashed banana, I guess. Banana is on its way out anyways, so I guess that works. And then we're going to add in a 1/3 cup of water. it on up. Okay, our bread is done. It passed the window pane test, so now we just need to cover that up and let it rise for about an hour to 2 hours. But I'm going to transfer it into here so that I can use my mixer for my cookies. So I'm just going to spray this just so it doesn't stick, and then we are going to transfer it. I'm sorry if y'all can't see. Okay, so our bread passed the window pane test, so now we are just transferring it out of our mixer and put it into a bowl so I can use the mixer. And then we are going to cover it with some saran wrap just in case we cannot get back to it fast enough. And then we just need this to double in size for about an hour or so. If I can get that. Okay, so here is the bread. Now we're going to sit on the table and let it double for about an hour to an hour and a half. Okay, so now we are going to start mixing up this. I knew it was going to happen. It died. Okay. Plan B, because I don't want to wash my mixer yet, is this. Okay, so now with the pumpkin bread, we are going to add in half of this flour mixture. And we are going to mix this up. And then we are going to add in the other half. And then we will add in our chocolate chips. I honestly think that if you don't add chocolate chips to your pumpkin bread, then there's something wrong with you. No, not really, but I think it's so much better to add in some chocolate chips. Just takes it that little notch that it needs. I'm the same way though with banana bread. My banana bread, if it doesn't have chocolate chips, I'm like, meh. Our brownies are smelling really good. They are almost done. They got a few more seconds left. My hand's getting tired. Okay. These need a little bit longer. What was I getting? Chocolate chips. And then you want to add in a cup of chocolate chips. Just like that. And then we want to save some chocolate chips too, or have some extra for the top. Okay, now let me get my pans. And now I'm just going to try to add in the parchment paper. Then I'm going to give that a spray too. And then we need to add in half of this to this one, half to the other. And it's heavy, you guys. I think I need more in there, but we'll see. If you ball up your parchment paper like this, it's easier to let it sit where it needs to. chocolate chips to the top, but before we do that, I'm going to check this. Again, our brownies. Not quite yet. So now we are going to add in on top of our pumpkin bread some chocolate chips. Remember, with our pumpkin bread, we used kamut, fresh milled flour. Kamut has a little bit more of like a nutty taste, which is actually really good. If you've never had it, I would highly suggest, like, this would be a grain that I would go to, like, for my rolls and stuff, just because the flavor is really, really good. Doesn't really taste like a whole wheat to me. It's just really good, and it just gives it an extra little kick, not kick, but I don't know, it's just better. So you're just gonna have to try it and see for yourself. At some point, I'm gonna end up be selling this stuff, and then I will be shipping it as well. So if you ever want to try anything, let me know. Okay, so these need to be baked for 60 to 70 minutes. So I'm just scooting over my brownies, and then I will add these. Okay. Goodness. Okay, so we will be done with these when they get done. I'm still waiting on our bread. I'm gonna set like a 40-minute timer or 45-minute timer for the bread, because if not, I will forget for the normal bread. Hey everybody. Okay, so the next is the cookies. But I need to wash out my mixer bowl along with, I'm gonna have to mill that grain as well. So we'll probably clean up this a little bit, mill the grain, and then wash out our bowl while it's milling. I think that's a perfect plan. Whenever I get done, I need to charge that hand mixer, or I'll forget. So we need 240 grams of soft white wheat for our chocolate chip cookies. If you're using fresh milled flour, I I would highly suggest you measure out in grams, because like a cup and a half was 240 grams, but it says to use 2 cups. So I just think everything is always more accurate with the grams, in my opinion. I'll put this in here. And we are going to mill this up. Okay, let me mute y'all, because it will be loud. Okay, we got done just in time for our meal to get done. So brownies still need a little bit more time, but just going to give them a few more minutes, and then I take them out, and then I'm sure they'll cook a little bit more in the pan. Okay, so for our cookies, we need to cream together a stick of butter and brown sugar and regular sugar. So I'm gonna do that over here. So moving on to our chocolate chip cookies, and we need to cream the butter. add in a stick of butter. And then we need 3/4 cups of regular sugar. And then brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. While that's doing that, we are going to do our dry, which is the flour. We need to add a teaspoon of baking soda. And a teaspoon of salt. So here are how the brownies look. So with this mixture, we're just going to mix it up. Now we wait for our butter. Okay, so since our butter is done, we're going to need to add in our vanilla and then our eggs one at a time. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. almost done with this part. We will also need a cup of chocolate chip cookies. Now we are going to start adding in our flour a little bit at a time. Chocolate chips are in. So now we have to let the dough rest for about 10 minutes. So at about 11:07 is when we will be able to start popping those in the oven. Now, I guess I need to clean up my mess. These brownies, you guys, really smell good. Let me do a little bit of a video for the brownies. Okay, friends, so the brownies are done. And y'all, they smell so, so good. I cannot wait to try them. Sorry, you guys, that was my boss. If y'all do not know, I do have a full-time job on top of, you know, all the other stuff I do. And but my job luckily is very, very flexible. I don't have to, like, he just, you know, whatever I need, whenever, you know, he's very accommodating. He's like our family, really. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna put these dishes up so that I can put those ones in here. That will be the pan that I use for the cookies. This one didn't get all the way cleaned. Done. So now we are going to load this dishwasher up. Like I said in the beginning, you guys, this dishwasher runs constantly. think that's all I will be able to fit in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it. And then we need to wipe these counters down. Hey Siri, call Mike. Hey, did you find those deposit slips for him? Carl, did he call you? He wanted to put a check in the bank. He asked me if I was there, and I said no. Yeah, that's what he says. Good. Yeah. So you might want to tell Terrence. I have. Oh, okay. Well, I have them in my desk in that little pull-out drawer where the Simmons. I usually have the Simmons ones. So and it just says Gateway on it. So if there's any of them. Okay. Yeah, it's insane. She's looking pretty good. Good. Okay. All right, bye. So with my meal, I'm gonna wait a little bit and then I'll clean this later. But I'm gonna move it, well, wipe it down first. It must be pretty warm in my house because, or maybe it is just because of the oven, but the bread is rising nicely. Or it's just been longer than what I thought. Okay. So that's wiped down. Now we are just going to put it, oops, on the table for now until I wash the inside of it. Flour on my tripod. Okay. I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit longer because of the bread and things like that. Let me see how much time I have left on my bread. About 15 minutes. And then we have 28 minutes on our, what's that called? Pumpkin bread. So what is everybody up to? I am also going to be doing a video of this, but it's probably just going to be a voiceover because it's kind of hard to do both. But if you have any questions about fresh milled flour, go ahead and put them in the comments right now, and I will answer them if I can. And if not, we will research it together. And then if you do not have any questions, then I will go ahead and get off of here, and then everybody can see the results whenever I make the video. So let me know, what are your questions about fresh milled flour, if you have any? Questions about fresh milled flour, what are they? Thank you so much, you too. I would stay on, but I got 30 minutes at least, minimum, 30 minutes on the pumpkin bread, and then I got about, well, it says 15 minutes, but it hasn't quite doubled, so it'll probably be another 30 to 40 minutes on that. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Let me show y'all the bread before I go. So here it is. It's pretty close, just not there yet. Not there quite yet. So real quick, before I leave, I'm going to let y'all know about fresh milled flour, what it is, what it does, different things like that. So if you do not know, fresh milled flour is whole wheat berries that you grind down in a food mill or Nutri-Mill or whatever you want to call them, stone mill, and it grinds down the wheat berries. Let me show y'all. So this is a wheat berry, if you did not know. Oop. These, that would be easier. So this is wheat berries, and you will grind these down in like a stone mill or any type of mill that you have, and you will grind these down. It will become a flour, and then you can use that flour in your baked goods or your breads or anything like that. The benefits of fresh milled flour is that it has 40 out of the 44 nutrients that your body needs to sustain itself. So that is a very high number. And then, like, if you get flour from the grocery store, it's basically like dead flour, because the ones from the grocery store, it's milled and then it takes however long to get to us. And a lot of times when it's milled too hot. So that also takes more of that nutrients out of the flour. So basically, like, the flour at the grocery store is basically there's no nutrients in it besides the nutrients that they put back into it. It's not just from the whole wheat berry itself. It's just added stuff that they're just putting in just to make it show up as it has these nutrients in it. But then again, they're putting processed stuff in your flour. So if you mill your own, you can mill it, and then if you use it within the first 3 days, then you get the maximum benefits. It's a lot better to just grind it, use it into what you're having right then, like grind it as you need it, use it at that moment, because that's the maximum nutrients that you can get out of it. The longer you wait, the more nutrients will just disintegrate, and then you won't have those nutrients in your food. And we want that. We want that nutrients. We want to be able to digest the food better. We want to be able to have it not hurt our tummies, and things like that. A lot of people who are gluten intolerant are able to use fresh milled flour and not have a problem with their gut or anything like that. So if you are having trouble with like gluten and things like that, I would highly recommend trying fresh milled flour. It's just worth a try and see how it does. And if it works for your body, then that will be amazing. But it's just so many more benefits. And then like whenever you give your kids like a cookie or brownie or something, you don't have to be as concerned because they are getting those nutrients from the flour. It's more protein in it and things like that. So it is a little bit better. So I think that is always good as well. And so far, everything that I've made with fresh milled flour, my family loves it. We made some kamut flour rolls, and they are really, really good. I want to make them again, but I think if I make them again, I have to cut the recipe in half because it was too much for my KitchenAid mixer. So if you are wanting to get started with fresh milled flour, I will say it is a little bit of an investment because the meal is pretty high dollar. If you want a good one, you can have the one that you can get the one that I have, but it's like 100 and something bucks, but it's not as good, you guys. You can just tell it's not. So my goal is to work up to a Nutri-Meal. I think that would be good. Also, you'll need a mixer that can handle like the bigger loaves of bread. So like the Bosch mixer, it's bigger, like the bowl is like a 6.5 quart, and then also it's a little bit higher powered so that it helps it mix very, very well. Whereas my KitchenAid struggles with certain recipes, like with certain breads, it struggles. And then what else? I think that's really about it. But you guys, fresh milled flour is really where it's at right now. And I think it's going to continue to be. Also, another benefit of fresh milled flour is your whole wheat berries. You can put them in one of these 5-gallon food buckets, and then they have a gamma lid on it, and then it just twists on top, and then it helps seal it. And then these are good in here like this for years. You can even put these in Mylar bags, put oxygen absorbers if you got like more of these in bulk. Like if you got bags and bags and bags, then you could do it like that, just to make sure that would be good. But whole wheat berry grain lasts a very long time. So that's an added benefit to everything else. So yeah, that's the little spiel. So if you have any more questions, then you can let me know down in any of the comments of my videos. I will also be posting this video up as soon as at some point, either tonight or tomorrow, I will try to get it posted. And if you have any questions, you can put it in there. Or if you have any questions, you can put it in the community tab as well. And I will get back to you as soon as possible. I also have a Facebook page. It's called Josie's Journey, just like it is here on my YouTube. If you have any questions there, you can always comment or message me on there as well. So there's that. But yeah, I will put the pictures and stuff of everything on my video, so whenever it gets done, you can see that. But yeah, you guys, I hope y'all all have a great rest of your day. It's noon here, so I'm about to get some lunch, wait for this stuff to get done, and go on about my day. So, bye you guys.